Hey there, here I am again. Here you are again. We are looking at, becoming a pro in network marketing. For the last few videos, I have over 23 of them. I think this is 24 or so. This part is really super important. You got to understand things have changed over the years, meaning that people don't go to meetings like they used to. It doesn't mean that these events aren't important. They are very important to get involved with people that are in the same line of in a business that you're in. It inspires you. You hear things in these meetings that you wouldn't hear elsewhere. They don't have much of these meetings going on, but you know what they do have? Zoom meetings. Zoom meetings are a big impact in these opportunity meetings that are based on what we're doing with our business. And if you have a Zoom meeting that you're not attending and you want to just attend the pre-recorded messages or the pre-recorded meetings, hey, it's not the same as being there live. I don't know what it is about being live versus Memorex. I don't know if you're around when they had that commercial. Is it live or Memorex? If you're there, if you are, you can say, okay, I I've been there. I know it. Um, because this skill, number 7, is promoting events. It's getting together with people that are like-minded like you. The network marketing meetings make money. Okay, if you go to these meetings, if they started having meetings, would you give up excuses that you couldn't go because of certain things? Or would you push those things aside and say, for this one time, I'm going to make it possible for me to go? And I remember going to some meetings, man. I remember I booked a flight to go somewhere to a meeting. I didn't even know the place we were going. We were going back east, and I got this flight, and I thought I got a hotel big enough for 3 of us to be in. But when I got there and we got off the plane and we went to the hotel, the hotel was not booked. And I was like, oh my goodness, the hotel was not booked. I didn't book the hotel. And so they said they didn't have any rooms at first. And then they found a room. And actually, I ended up paying for this room for 3 of us to stay in, and there was only one bed. Okay? We took turns. It was a 3-day meeting, so each person took the turns to lay on the floor. you know it was something we had to cramp in and do. But and I was in another meeting where we bought food and put it in, and we were all together, and it's really kind of cool to be around people who are like-minded. And it's just kind of a neat thing because you stay up longer, you listen more intently what's going on. But and meeting one-on-one in a small group or local or bigger event will have a huge impact on the long-term success in any network marketing organization. But one particular type of event, and is the most powerful, and that is the destination event. Okay, even it might be a company sponsored event, and or one put on by your upline, okay, leadership. But a destination event is one where most of the attendees travel to different cities, stay at a hotel, and participate in the conference or convention. Some try to argue the destination events are dead in the new technology world, and people won't travel for these things anymore. All I can say is, and tell you, is that most people are not top earners. Okay, they're not top earners in one profession. You know, in our profession right here, in this profession of network marketing, most people are not top earners. They're just using it as a means to springboard themselves into making more money down the road. But most of them are working at part-time because they got a full-time job and they ain't got time to go to these meetings. You know, they can't get time off from work if they don't schedule it properly. You know, if you study what the successful people do, okay, to build their network marketing organizations, you will find that virtually every one of them uses destination events as a cornerstone for building their business. Listen, guys, this is very important to listen. There's something magical about getting away from your day-to-day routine and the grind of every day going to work and focusing completely on your dreams. You know, it says that without a vision that people perish. So have a dream, have a vision, and totally immerse yourself in these events. You know, even if it's only just a weekend, you know, is it good? It's good. You can use it to refocus and reconnect and to your future and gather the strength necessary to go back home and do what's necessary to move your business forward. See, you gain strength from the presentations you hear during the event. And sometimes the person says something at just the right time in your life and changes you forever. Over 20 years ago, you know, I was at a convention. And, you know, when a guy by the name of Johnny Daniel said, "You can tell the size of a man by the size of the problem that gets him down." That statement went right into my heart and my head and that has helped me ever since. If I ever get sad or depressed, something inside me says, it's the size of me. I answered, no. You have to say, you say this to yourself. Is this the size of, put your name. Is this the size of Stephen? Your answer should be no. Pick yourself up and get moving again. I've had hundreds of moments over the years at destination events. You'll give up blaming at an event and decide to become a professional. At some time in your life, you need to decide to be professional, not a poser and not an amateur. Realize that no one could stop you when you come to that point. No one is going to stop you. You decide to go to the top at that event. In fact, I can't really think of a single moment in my network marketing career that didn't happen in an event. They are that powerful, realizing that, you know, if you don't, they are. In addition to getting strength from the presenters, you also receive incredible validation from your decision to be involved. Its concept is called social proof. And you know, in today's, we have Zoom meetings. If you get on a pre-recorded one, it's okay. It isn't the same as being on there live. And you know you can ask questions. In a one you're recording, you can't ask questions. You got to go back to your upline and say, hey, I got this question. If you were there, you could ask the question. And it's very important as human beings, you know, We're wired to seek proof from source outside of our own thoughts and experiences. At a destination event, you see lots of people who made the same decision you have, and and that feels pretty good. Also, you see how some of them have overcome their fears, gone to the highest levels of your company, and start to think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. That's also some positive peer pressure involved. Most destination events include recognition programs. Who won the contest, moved to a next rank, earned the top income, or spoke from the stage. When I went to my first event, I saw all the people walking across the stage, and I thought to myself, the next time I'll be walking across that stage. It was inspiring, and so many people had accomplished what I had done, what I hadn't done. Okay? And it made me think I could do it. And it made me work on a plan to make it happened. In addition to being inspired, I also didn't want to show up at the next event without some improvement in my business. That positive peer pressure helped me face my fears and make that happen. Believe me, overall, the sense of community at a destination event is comforting. We all live in a world filled with ignorant people, don't we? When it comes to network marketing, that can get discouraging at times. But when we go to a big event, suddenly we're surrounded by people who think like we do. They have similar benefits, hopes, dreams, aspirations, and positive attitudes. Spending time with these amazing groups of people can literally fill us back up again, and we have the strength for the next push. Once you understand how important destination events are, the success of your business, man, you need to learn how to effectively promote them to your organization. It's really very simple. The more people from your group attend events, the more money you're going to make from your profession. Just remember that. Top leaders know exactly how many people are attending, and they make sure to grow at that number at every new event. Think about it. Take two distributors who each have a group of 100 people, okay? Distributor A makes a priority to get everyone to attend every major event, destination event. Distributor B doesn't make it a priority, so only a handful attend. Which group is going to be more successful? It's not even a contest. The first step to developing a culture that promotes attendance at destination events is to personally be more committed than anyone else to attending and helping others make the same decision. That means you need to lead by example and never miss a destination event. When I first started in this profession, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't have the money. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the time, really. And I had the same obstacles as everyone else. But something happened to me at the first event that changed everything. I scraped up enough money to get there, and it was a mind-blowing experience. The stage, the lights, the people, the stories. It was awesome. During one of the sessions, I stepped out to go to the bathroom. When I came back to the entrance to the big convention hall, I found myself standing next to one of the big top income leaders or earners in the whole company, okay? And it was like standing next to a celebrity. He had achieved what I wanted to achieve and more. I stood there trying to think of something smart to say. Finally, I simply introduced myself and asked, "What's the secret?" Today, I know there isn't a secret. He could have said the same thing to me, but instead, he had a little compassion and gave me an important lesson that serves me to this day. He said, "Do you see this room? It holds about 2,000 people. We have these events about 4 times a year. Here's the secret. At the next event, half of these people won't even come or be here. But the other half that does will be making about twice the average of everyone else in the room. Your job is to be the 1,000 people who come back. And it doesn't stop there. At the next event, half of those 1,000 won't come back, but the 500 who do will be making 4 times the amount of the average room. What's in the room? Okay? This continues from event to event. If you continue to come back, you'll end up making it among the highest paid people in the room, and eventually you'll even find yourself presenting on stage. That's it. He replied, obviously, you're going to have to continue to work on your skills in between the events, right? But my experience has showed me that if you outlast people at the big events, you will make it to the top. This was pretty simple for me to understand. I thanked him and made a resolution on the spot to never miss a big company event. It wasn't easy. Sometimes even event tickets alone were a problem. I made it priority and found a way to buy them. Sometimes childcare was an issue. I relentlessly searched for babysitters until we found someone we could trust. Sometimes I struggled with how to get to the event. Instead of taking a nice, comfortable, direct flight, I sometimes had to book 1 or 2 or 3 connections. Instead of flying, sometimes I had to drive. Even piling into one vehicle with a group of people to get there. There were even times when I reserved a bus and recruited people in my area to share the ride. The point is, I made it a priority and I made it to the event. No, as for accommodations, today I stay at a suite. But it wasn't always that way. At the beginning, I often shared a room with many people as possible. Instead of a room service, we had to go to the local grocery store and get food for inexpensive meals. And the Minibar was strictly off limits. Bottom line, the advice I received all those years ago worked because I was ambitious and hungry. Are you? I figured out a way to outlast the people that were less committed, and just like that top income earner had told me, my income continued to grow with each event. On top of that, another strange thing happened. I started to feel different than everyone else. I started to feel like an Iron Man. I started to be proud to be to the fact that I was still standing when other people lost faith. So if you're more committed than anyone else to attending destination events, that all important commitment will serve you well. Once you are fully committed, and the next step is to grow the number of people on your team that attend with you. Most people announce the big event to their group, sit back and hope people will register. Professionals understand there is a big difference between being an announcer and being a promoter. Promoters make the event priority in their groups. They are relentless with their message. They tell stories that inspire people to action. They take nothing for granted and don't rest until people have registered. They paint a picture in people's minds about how great the event will be and the benefits of attending. One thing I learned long ago was to never buy someone's excuse, at least at the beginning. I can't tell you how many people started off telling me the reasons they couldn't attend the next destination event, only to find out the reasons was just an excuse and wasn't really true. The problem with the amateurs is that they buy the first story that's the end of it. A person says, I can't get off work, I can't afford it, I can't get childcare, or who's going to watch my dog, or the many other excuses. There's a birthday party at that weekend, and an amateur says, oh well, it's what it is, hope you can make the next one. The professionals has a completely different mindset. When they hear an objection, they don't buy that story. Because they know it's probably not real, okay? Or it's at least not real enough. Instead, they work with the person to help them understand the meaning and importance of attending events. Then they brainstorm with them to figure out a way to overcome their initial problem. I can't tell you how many people that's been talked to who had already decided they weren't going to attend the next event, and within 5 minutes they changed their mind and registered. The lesson here is to tell your story, okay? Don't buy theirs. All right? Think of this skill as if you are a publicly traded company, and your stock value is tied directly to how many people you have at each destination event. If that were the case, you'd make it priority to always have a bigger number at the next event, wouldn't you? You might start with just you at first event, but then the goal needs to be bring some people with you to the next one, and grow that number at the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. There's no such thing as a silver bullet in network marketing, but it is a skill as close as it gets. I hope that's helped. I hope that you get something out of that. The next part will be anything's worthwhile takes time. So anyway, I thank you. I'm sorry that it took so long, but I had to get that point across, and hopefully it helps, and hopefully you gain something with it. And I will tell you what, see you at the top.